You know, those pictures coming out of the California wildfires are just wild.
Oh,
It's like entire neighborhoods just covered in this bright pink dust.
it's
It's
crazy.
straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I bet you've seen them, but
Oh, yeah.
have you ever stopped to think, like, what is that stuff
Right.
that they're dropping from the planes?
Yeah, it's not magic dust,
Right.
though it might seem that way.
Yeah.
We're looking at a product called Phos-Chek.
Phos-Chek.
And get this, it's been the most widely used fire retardant worldwide since 1963.
Wow.
Yeah.
Older than both of us combined.
Uh-huh.
But here's something I found really curious, like while prepping for this deep dive.
Yeah.
The exact formula of Phos-Chek is a closely guarded secret.
That's right.
Like,
It's a proprietary blend.
really?
And the company, for obvious competitive reasons,
Sure.
keeps the recipe under wraps.
Uh-huh.
We know the main ingredient is water,
Okay.
but it also includes fertilizers,
Fertilizers?
colorants,
Okay.
and anti-corrosive agents.
Fertilizers and a fire retardant.
Yeah,
That seems odd.
it's not as strange as it sounds.
Okay.
The fertilizers,
Okay.
specifically the ammonium phosphates, actually played a crucial role in how the Phos-Chek works.
I see.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
The retardant acts as a temporary fire-resistant blanket,
Okay.
and the ammonium phosphates help that blanket cling to the vegetation,
Okay.
creating more effective barrier.
So it's not just dousing the flames with water.
Right.
It's creating a physical barrier, too.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But why pink? Is it just to make it stand out in photos?
It definitely creates dramatic visuals,
Sure.
but the primary reason for the pink dye is pilot visibility.
Oh,
During a wildfire, visibility can be severely hampered by smoke,
right.
so that vibrant pink helps pilots see where they've already dropped the retardant,
Okay.
ensuring accurate and efficient coverage.
So they don't double up.
Right.
And the company assures us that the pink dye fades naturally over time.
That's what they claim. But the long-term ecological effects of these chemicals, including the dye, are still being studied.
So it doesn't stain the ground pink forever?
Well, we don't know for sure.
Okay.
There's ongoing research looking at how these substances break down in the environment
Yeah.
and what their impact might be on soil, water, and wildlife.
So we've got this powerful tool for fighting fires.
Yeah.
But like with any powerful tool,
Sure.
there's potential for unintended consequences.
Absolutely.
Let's dive into that side of the story now.
Okay.
I know there's been some controversy surrounding the use of fire retardants, particularly concerns about its environmental impact.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
It's not a simple good versus bad situation.
right.
There's a lot of nuance here.
Yeah.
One of the main concerns is the effect of Phos-Chek on aquatic life.
Okay.
Remember those fertilizers we talked about?
Yeah.
They can lead to nutrient loading in waterways,
Uh-huh.
which can be harmful to fish and other aquatic organisms.
And that concern led to a pretty significant lawsuit in 2022, right?
Case?
A group called Forest Service Employees for Environmental Ethics sued the Forest Service,
Right.
claiming that the widespread aerial dumping of fire retardants was violating the Clean Water Act.
Exactly.
Wow.
And they also argued that the retardant wasn't as effective as the Forest Service claimed.
Really?
They highlighted studies showing that fire retardant may sometimes actually hinder firefighting efforts
Oh, so?
by creating a false sense of security
Oh.
and delaying other crucial tactics.
The judge in that case actually sided with the environmental group on the Clean Water Act violation,
That's right.
but didn't ban the use of fire retardants outright.
Yeah,
It's clearly a tricky situation with no easy answers.
it really is.
Yeah,
The judge acknowledged the critical role fire retardants play in protecting lives and property,
sure.
but emphasized the need for the Forest Service to obtain proper permits and minimize environmental harm. The Forest Service is currently working to secure an EPA permit to continue using fire retardants while minimizing environmental damage.
I see.
It's a delicate balancing act.
And it brings up a fundamental question.
Yeah,
How do we balance the immediate need to protect people and property from wildfires with the long-term health of our ecosystems?
that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a question that becomes even more complex when you consider the human element,
Right.
I was struck by a quote from the former mayor of Paradise, California,
Okay.
a town that was tragically devastated by the Camp Fire in 2018.
Right.
He said, and I'm paraphrasing here,
Sure.
that he supports the judge's ruling,
Okay.
but also believes communities need every tool available to fight these increasingly destructive fires.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that this debate isn't just theoretical.
Right.
It's about real people's lives, their
Definitely.
homes,
Yeah.
their communities.
Their livelihood.
And as climate change fuels more intense wildfires,
Uh-huh.
the stakes just get higher.
Absolutely. And on that note, it's important to understand how the Forest Service is adapting its practices.
Okay.
They've been transitioning away from an older type of Phos-Chek,
Okay.
known as LC95,
LC95.
in favor of a newer formulation called MVPFX.
Hold on. LC95 MVPFX.
Yeah.
Can we rewind for a second?
Sure.
I'm guessing our listener might be wondering what the difference is.
Of course, think of it this way. LC95 was like the original recipe,
Okay.
but over time, research revealed its potential for environmental harm.
Uh-huh.
So they developed MVPFX,
Okay.
which they claim is less toxic to wildlife.
Okay.
It's still largely a secret formula,
Right.
but the idea is that it breaks down more easily in the environment
Okay.
and has a lower impact on aquatic ecosystems.
So it's like switching from a conventional pesticide to a more eco-friendly option.
That's a good analogy.
But are these changes enough?
Well,
The lawsuit suggested that even the improved retardants still pose a risk.
that's the crux of the issue. There's no denying that fire retardants, even the newer formulations, have an impact on the environment.
Right.
The Forest Service has implemented mandatory buffer zones,
Okay.
prohibiting the dropping of retardant near waterways and critical habitats.
But I read that there are exceptions to those rules,
Uh-huh.
especially when human life is at stake.
That's correct. And it raises a really thorny ethical question.
Yeah.
When does the need to protect human life outweigh the potential for environmental harm?
Right.
It's a judgment call that firefighters often have to make in the heat of the moment, literally.
You know, it makes me think about the broader context here.
Yeah.
We're so focused on fighting fires,
Yeah.
but maybe we need to shift our thinking. What if we invested more in preventing those fires in the first place?
You're hitting on a crucial point. Fire suppression has been the dominant strategy for decades. But now there's a growing recognition that we need to focus more on fire adaptation.
Fire adaptation.
That means things like managing forests more proactively,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
reducing fuel loads through prescribed burns,
Right.
and creating more defensible space around communities.
It's almost like we've been trying to play whack-a-mole with wildfires,
I like that.
but maybe we need to change the game entirely.
Exactly. We need to learn to live with fire, not just fight it.
Right.
And that requires a fundamental shift in our thinking and our practices.
So where do we go from here?
Well,
We've got this complex, powerful tool that can save lives,
yeah,
but also has a significant impact on the environment.
it's a tough one.
What's the path forward?
It's a multifaceted challenge, and there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
Of course.
But I think there are a few key things we need to do. First, we need to continue researching and developing more environmentally friendly fire retardants.
So investing in science and innovation,
Exactly.
that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Second, we need to prioritize those fire adaptation strategies we talked about.
Okay.
Better forest management, prescribed runs, creating fire-resilient communities.
Right.
And third, we need honest and open dialogue about the trade-offs involved.
Sure.
We need to weigh the risks and benefits carefully and make informed decisions.
It sounds like a lot of this comes down to individual responsibility, too.
Yeah,
We can all do our part to reduce wildfire risk, whether it's clearing brush around our homes or supporting policies that promote sustainable forest management.
you're absolutely right. This is a collective challenge that requires a collective response.
Yeah.
We all have a role to play in creating a future where we can coexist with fire in a way that's both safe and sustainable.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We started with those striking images of pink-dusted landscapes
Yeah.
and ended up delving into the science, the ethics, and the future of wildfire management.
It's been quite a journey.
It's been quite a deep dive.
It has. And what's remarkable is that this seemingly simple substance fire retardant
Right.
has opened up a window into so many interconnected issues. It's a powerful reminder that the choices we make today have far-reaching consequences both for ourselves and for the planet.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener?
Well,
I think the key takeaway here is awareness.
definitely.
We've seen these dramatic images of wildfires and the efforts to contain them,
Right.
but it's important to understand the tools being used,
Uh-huh.
their effectiveness, and the complex trade-offs involved.
It's about informed decision-making, both on a policy level and in our own lives.
Yeah.
As individuals, we might not be dropping fire retardant from planes, but we can make choices that reduce wildfire risk.
Right.
support sustainable practices, and advocate for policies that protect both people and the planet.
Yeah, it really highlights the interconnectedness of everything, doesn't it?
It does.
Like we started with this visual of pink powder and ended up talking about climate change,
Right.
forest management,
Yeah.
and the very way we think about fire.
What I find fascinating is that fire retardant, in a way, represents our struggle to control nature.
Oh,
We've developed this technology to combat wildfires.
right?
But those fires are often a result of our own actions.
Yeah.
From climate change to decades of fire suppression that have led to overgrown forests.
So we're using this tool to fix a problem that we, in part, created.
Exactly.
It's like trying to put a Band-Aid on a broken bone.
It is a powerful analogy.
Yeah,
And it underscores the need for a more holistic approach,
right.
one that addresses the root causes of wildfires, not just the symptoms.
You know, I remember reading about how indigenous communities for centuries used fire intentionally
Right.
as a tool to manage landscapes and prevent catastrophic wildfires.
That's right.
Maybe we need to relearn some of that ancient wisdom.
Absolutely. There's a
Yes.
growing movement to incorporate traditional ecological knowledge into wildfire management practices.
Interesting.
Indigenous communities have a deep understanding of fire's role in ecosystems.
Yeah.
And their practices offer valuable insights into how we can coexist with fire more sustainably.
It's like we've come full circle. We developed this high-tech solution, fire retardant, but maybe the answer lies in blending that technology with ancient wisdom and a deeper understanding of natural processes.
I think you're right. It's about finding that balance, respecting the power of nature, while also using our ingenuity to protect ourselves and the environment. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.